Sam Hamm and Joe Quinones continue the hunt for Harvey Dent as Two-Face leads a daring heist on the GCPD, kidnapping Jim Gordon as Batman and Robin race against time to find the villain. Sam Hamm continues the robust character development on his version of Two-Face this issue, devoting lots of the issue to delving into Harvey's plan and what he intends to do to Gotham. I've really enjoyed this version of Two-Face and how he's taking shape as a type of vigilante who does want to right some wrongs from Harvey's previous life, but obviously it's going about it in a violent way. Parts of Harvey's former life shine through, and it's interesting to note that Dent before the accident wasn't so clean as other incarnations usually are, as Sam paints him as a bit of an opportunist who will do almost anything to get his way and get in the door with someone. It's a really interesting way to take the character. While the book is also only 6 issues, I do feel we needed more time with Batman and Robin, since last issue they were pretty much meeting for the first time, and this issue they are working together as a cohesive team, so we never really got to see them iron out their differences or form a proper working relationship like we usually do in the comics. Joe Quinones continues his dynamic and colourful artwork with an issue that was really pretty packed regarding what was happening on each page. Joe made it work though with some really cool panel choices like the reflection of Harvey's coin reflecting what was happening actually in the book and acting as panels, or the cracked mirror separating the two faces of Harvey Dent. Batman 89 issue 5 is a jam-packed issue featuring some more fantastic character development for this version of the Two-Face, but in ironing out this character, other characters like Batman, Robin, and Catwoman, and Jim Gordon, and their various working relationships were left to languish in the background. I'm going to give this issue a 7.5 out of 10. Batman 89 finds Two-Face beating up a man who demands his lawyer. Dent knows that the man hasn't figured out yet that he's not there in an official capacity, wanting him to think of him as a prospective employer, knowing that the man will go to jail for the job he recently pulled, and they are letting him walk so he can lead them to the real money men behind the operation. The man says he never knew he was working for someone higher, but knew something was up when they wanted his crew to hit 2 armored cars filled with $31 million, and it's like they were begging to be robbed. Dent believes the man, knowing that if he stole the money once, he can do it again, learning that his cut was originally $1 million, but Dent knows if the man does the job for him, he will double the money, pointing his gun at the man's face and making him agree. Two-Face flips the coin, telling the man that he wants his clown crew as well, but the man reminds him there is no Joker gang since most of Joker's men are in jail or dead, but there is a subculture of sociopathic punks who dress up and raise hell, but in that subculture there is a class of professional criminal who use the clown gear as a sort of camouflage to get away with larger crimes. The criminals come to see Two-Face, who tells them if his plan works, they will walk away with a fortune, and if it doesn't work, they will get to have a bit of good destructive fun. Elsewhere, Barbara watches more punks being brought into the station before leaving for home, where she hears people talking about Harvey Dent's supposed death as she spots more of the police who are watching over her. Heading home, she meets with her father, who says that he's there on official business. Barb knows that this is about Harvey, but she says that she wants him brought in alive since he needs help thanks to his painkiller addiction and no doubt infections on his face. She demands her father not light his pipe, but he says there's no tobacco in it and it's more of a security blanket for him, asking if Harvey said anything about Lincoln Savings and Loan since he stole files from his office. Barb reminds him that Harvey was the DA, but she knows in Gotham, people obviously are tried and convicted with no thought for the good in Harvey's heart or that he's actually going through something. Jim knows that everything she said about him was right and he has let her and everyone else down, just wishing that he lived up to her opinion of him since it was the proudest day of his life when she joined the force. He hopes that things work out for her since there is never enough idealists in the line of work they have, since the job chews them up and spits them out. After Jim leaves, Barb finds a paper with a message from Harvey in it, asking her to meet him at the park in their usual spot. The Batmobile meanwhile speeds through a police trap as Batman tells Robin to slow down, directing him where to go as he activates the holograms, confusing the police who are tailing them as to which road Batman went down. Batman thinks the reinforcements will be called, but Robin notices they're all moving south as the police radio calls for all units back to base. Batman knows that whatever it is, it's worse than them, as on the AA subway line, the train comes to an abrupt stop thanks to the tunnel ahead collapsing. The people are helped off by subway workers as Alfred tells Batman about the explosions in the subway, noting how all 4 explosion sites are equidistant from police HQ. Outside of the GCPD, a reporter asks Captain Ramirez about the supposed gas leak in the police HQ that has led them to evacuate the building, but the captain assures her that there is no harm done, and the subway does indeed run under the police HQ. Suddenly, the captain is shot by a sniper as Two-Face and his gang make their way into the destroyed station, telling the gang to spread out and have some fun while he heads to the GCPD evidence room. Jim meanwhile tells Cecil that there is no cover-up and he needs to get out of the building now, but outside his office he finds Two-Face's gang looting the building. Bullock is also in the office, knowing that this is some paramilitary assault and they are the last ones left in the building. Jim tells him to get himself outside since he's going back in as Batman sees the bat signal turn on top of the GCPD, telling Alfred that they need the cycle. Robin knows that the cycle wasn't ready, but Batman knows the boy wasn't ready for it, not wanting to get the boy killed as Alfred sends out the bat cycle, telling them where they can meet it, as on the rooftop of the GCPD, Two-Face's gang finds Gordon by the bat signal, intending on throwing him from the roof as Batman arrives, smashing one of the men into the signal, asking Jim what it's all about. Jim says that it's about the loot from the Lincoln Savings heist since it's in the evidence room, and meanwhile the GCPD is flooded with fake gas leak calls and sniper fire from the street, causing all the cops to leave. Batman asks if Robin is getting this, telling Jim that he's talking with his intern and he should get the ex-commissioner to safety. Jim however reminds Batman that he's still on the job till Monday and this is his turf, but Batman tells him that there is a long way down through the stairs or a short way down off the rooftop. Jim chooses the short way, leaping off the building with Batman as Robin meanwhile takes down the snipers who are keeping the police pinned down. One of the punks says that it never mattered who they hit as long as they give their guys inside the GCPD 10 minutes of chaos. Two-Face and his men meanwhile find their time is up as Bullock confronts them, opening fire, but Two-Face is faster, hitting Bullock in the chest. Before Dent can escape, Batman and Gordon confront him, but Dent was hoping only half of the duo would show up. Jim always knew that Dent was ambitious, but this is inconsolable, but Harvey knows that the cops and criminals are cut from the same cloth. He throws one of Batman's own remote batarangs which he took from evidence at Batman, who falls over thanks to the batarang, firing his bat dart into the neck of Jim, who is knocked out by it. Dent takes Jim's unconscious body down the hole into the ground, telling Batman they are going to leave quietly with the loot, and Gordon and Bullock is busy dying on the floor, so if Batman makes a move, Gordon dies as well. He asks the hero if he should toss a coin to decide what to do, but Batman decides to take care of Bullock, taking the man out to the cops, who think that Bullock is Batman's hostage. Batman tells them what happened to the lieutenant when suddenly Robin on the Batcycle speeds past, cleaning the cops up with a grapple rope. Batman yells at him to go, detaching the cable as they speed off into the night. Robin tells Batman that he found 3 snipers, and once they get to the cave, Bruce asks Alfred if they have picked up a signal, showing Robin that the dart he accidentally hit Gordon with had a tracker in it, and he had planned on tracking Dent with it, thanks to the relay sensors he has planted all over the city. Out in Burnside, the community begins finding money has been given to them via the mail as Dent continues to play games with Gordon's life, flipping the coin again and again to see if the man lives. Gordon knows that Harvey should just kill him now since it will happen sooner or later, but Dent knows that he wanted to, but the coin said let him live, and he kept getting the same results on the flips. He wonders if Gordon knew what was in the armored vans besides the 31 million, revealing that it carried documents under federal subpoena. Gordon accidentally spills the wine Dent gave him, causing Harvey to die for it out of anger, but it was all part of Gordon's plan as he plants the dart tracker on Harvey's suit. Harvey decides it's time to leave, knowing that in a slightly different universe, him and Jim Gordon might actually get along. Alfred soon gets a signal on the dart as elsewhere, Selina Kyle uses her computer skills to listen in on Batman's radio frequency, tracking him and Dent and learning that Dent is possibly heading to a new hideout. Batman follows after him, finding that Dent goes into a florist shop as Robin hides in plain sight, sighting the undercover cops and a few of Dent's goons hiding in the brush of the park. Dent meanwhile meets with Barbara in the park at their spot, bringing her flowers from the florist. Barb wants to see his face since it's been so long, looking at Harvey's scarred visage as he says that all their dreams they shared are coming true, although it's not in the way he expected. Barb believes in him, knowing that with everything he's gone through, all he will get is a slap on the wrist, but Harvey doesn't think so, since after what he's done, that door is closed. Barb doesn't think it matters now, trying to arrest Harvey as the undercover cops wait for their signal while the goons wait to get a clear shot. Batman knows that if Barb takes him down, they have no way of finding Jim, as Harvey knows that she won't be shooting him. He clicks on the cuffs as he reveals that he has kidnapped her father. Suddenly, Catwoman attacks from above as the police move in, firing on Dent, who escapes into the nearby streets and sewers. Catwoman tells Robin to follow Dent and she will catch up as Batman arrives, chasing after Dent, who makes it back to his hideout, ranting to Gordon about how Barbara has changed. Jim knows that she has a job to do, so what did Dent expect for her? Gordon thinks that she finally is seeing how spineless Dent was and how much of an opportunist he is. Out of anger, Harvey shoots Jim in the chest as the man hopes that he'll find an excuse for Barb over what he just did, since she'll never forgive him for this. Harvey panics thanks to making a decision without the coin, knowing nothing matters now as Batman appears, knowing it matters to him.